We are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about some very interesting and important things. So, obviously, you have heard what happened over the weekend. Telegram founder and also implications for Toncoin. Telegram founder arrested, but also we have seen that right into the weekend the Bitcoin price stabilized at around 64,000 US dollars per coin. So we are going to look at the implications for that as well. And there are a couple of very important events coming up this week that could add some volatility to the market, as well as there are some a couple of things to look at for Ecomi and Veve. So all of that will be happening in this live stream today, so make sure to stay all the way through it. So good morning to all of you. How are you doing, guys? It's Monday, and Mondays always start with with more coffee than other days, I believe. So that is why we are going to, let me just quickly fix my camera, going to take an extra deep sip of coffee here. Very, very good, very good. So I see a lot of people, or a couple of people are already here. Perth Coast, Crest and Crust. What is that name? Game on. Also Energy is here. Good morning, Motili and Andrew Dunlap. Aloha. Aloha, my man. Aloha is, these are only the Hawaiians, right? The Hawaiians are favored by the gods. Beautiful landscape, I believe. Anyways, guys, make sure to smash up the like button. Also, Booth is here again. Booth 777 LFG. Smash up the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Notifications on, and let's jump right into it. If you do not have any other topics, so let's check out a little bit what's going on here with Bitcoin. Let's also refresh to have the actual price and how it's looking. There you go, a lot of lines. Let's get into the 4-hourly here to see what is going on, and we see what's going on. The week starts with a little bit red. I would argue that we are, if you take the wicks or if you take the candle bodies, we are in some kind of a sideways forming flag. We will see how this plays out. Can either break to you could also draw it like this on the 4-hourly. Could either break to the upside, to the downside. I was of the impression that we will have some bullish continuation after this pump, but we will see. Also, if we look on the monthly, and this is the more important chart, if we look on the monthly, then we see that this candle is has an incredibly long candlestick, and that this candle is inside of the bull flag that we have been drawing in such a long time ago, right? So you see here how these two lines, like the orange line and this white line, this is the monthly pattern. And as long as we close the week in 5 days and 19 hours above 62,300 or 200 or something like that, as long as we do that, as long as we close above this trend line, we keep this bull flag intact that is forming since 6 months, and we give it the potential to break out in the next 1 or 2 months to the upside. And that is where we expect the pump latestly, somewhere in October, latestly at the election 5th of November. But there could be already some things happening this week that could shake up the market. Hey Mo Collections, what is going on? How are you doing? So also what this repump or this development that we had in the last days before the weekend and into the weekend caused is, look at the TSI. So I showed you that when the price was way down, that the TSI was actually curving down, right? So this shows us one thing. It's not doing that anymore with the current price that we have, even though that the candle is still red. It shows us one thing. For indicators like this, on a monthly basis, to really have an expression, you need to wait until the time frame that you have, until the candle closes, right? So it could look on a 1 month or 2 month like a bearish cross. It can look that the whole month, and you get a pump in a couple of days later, and suddenly it doesn't look like a cross anymore, right? So for the longest time in August, this looked like we will be heading downwards into a bearish TSI cross, and that would mean the bull market would be over, right? But the TSI doesn't look like a cross anymore. So everything can happen right now in the end. And even if it would be curving down, we would still have another month that also has to look like this, close in the red and so on, to actually form this pattern. So that is already good, what we're seeing here, in terms of the TSI, which is one of the most important indicators for us. So I would say that we are waiting for this close. We're going to check out how this close looks on Friday, on Saturday, Sunday, whatever. Okay, so market offers already in the chat. Nice. Also, let's quickly check out the if something is going on with the stochastic RSI. Let's check out some indicators here. I really need like a pro membership or so where I can just implement all of these things at once. So also the stochastic RSI is the same thing, right? In that case, for us to have a bullish cross, as we're in bearish momentum, we need a monthly close that is higher than this, right? So probably a bull cross is not happening as long as we're not pumping already in this month more, right? So bull cross would be when the blue line crosses above the orange line, right? Like this happened here, or here's another bull cross. So once the bull cross in stochastic RSI happens, it looks like this, right? So for example, here we have a bull cross, right? And after this bull cross, for the stochastic RSI, we have this 600% pump out of Bitcoin, right? So I would compare our situation at the moment in the chart with what happened here. So also here we had a long downside momentum. It was, let's see, so everyone was already bullish, and then it came to the C19 and whatnot, 70% downside. But that, until the cross happened, actually it took 335 days, right? So and we are in kind of a similar situation here, where we had this peak, and now we are technically, we are 100 150 days into this sideways consolidation, and we could add another 60 days or so to it, right? But really this bullish cross here is something that we need at some point. So we will see if we were to pump. In all other situations, and this is a little bit of a bummer, right? In all other situations in the history of Bitcoin, we were, after a bear cross as we had it here, we were going down into a bear market. So this is why some people say, we had a bear market and I don't know what. But here, in this situation, it was not the case. So this could have to do with pre-felt recession fears and so on, right? But I think the rate cuts are going to do it, right? As Mo Collection says, PH, I still think next year something's gonna give with the rate cuts. I think there is good times are coming. Yeah, if the economy shits the bed, then we will have a very bad time, and it could be something like this here. Only that it's after the halving and not before the halving like here. But in terms of global liquidity, we are already expanding. So still, it can happen. It can happen that we get a massive recession crash, that in a V-shaped recovery comes up year end and then drags on into the next year, and then in the next year we get a parabolic move. It all can happen. This is why we're analyzing. But as long as we keep this bull flag alive, as long as economic data comes in good, we keep our mind biased bullish, right? And as long, I mean, the momentum is to the downside. The momentum is to more consolidation at the moment, but this can change. And as you see in the TSI, as long as the bull market is still on, I will keep my bias bullish. Okay, so important things this week. So the no time for puts mission is still on. So we have today we have durable goods orders. Okay, fine, not the biggest. Then consumer confidence is a little bit more important already. And then Q2 GDP also on Thursday, together with jobless claims. And I think that will be important to see how the narrative for recession is, plus the jobless claims also, to see if the Fed is overshooting. And then pending home sales, okay, fine. Core PCE inflation, that is more important. And then Chicago PMI and consumer sentiment. Plus, we also have earnings. I think I forgot to bring them to the front. So let me just quickly see if I can find the earnings. I think the earnings were, yeah, here it is. So there you go. So we have earnings today. We have not so important ones, but it's getting better over the week, and I think this could add some volatility to the market. So here we have from Wednesday we have the most important, like Nvidia, Salesforce. I think those are very important, right? CrowdStrike also. So I think Wednesday could really bring the market, especially look at AI coins, because if Nvidia is coming out with something not so bullish, it could actually have an impact on those altcoins, right? And then there are typical like Abercrombie Fitch, Foot Locker, I don't care, right? But this is very important. And then also on Thursday, Dell and Best Buy could be interesting. But I think the main action is here, all eyes on Nvidia, as Nvidia is single-handedly supporting the the current stock market, right? As one of the biggest players. Now, that will have an impact. Also, maybe HP might be interesting and so on, right? But we will see. All in all, we will see what the condition of the market is, and Q2 GDP will also be interesting. Now, this guy has been arrested in France. Telegram founder and Russian national Pavel Durov has landed in France and almost immediately got arrested. Now, there are a couple of interesting things to this. First of all, why is this interesting on this Crypto Morning Coffee Show? Because there's Toncoin, and Toncoin did immediately dive like 15%, which is understandable as many things are on this guy. So it's a little bit concerning, right? It's a little bit concerning because the accusations are that guns, violence, I don't know, criminal activities and so on is happening on Telegram. And he is supposedly responsible for not censoring stuff on Telegram. Now, we know that there have been things deleted on Telegram, like hardcore neo-Nazi groups, Islamic State, and so on. That has been deleted, but it is not enough for some countries to say, okay, that's fine, right? It's not enough censorship. Okay, so now obviously that has a little bit of a taste that they arrested this guy on the airport, because with all the things that are happening in Europe right now, this is a little bit weird, right? And it also it also bears the question that after some people in the EU have been outspoken against Elon Musk, for example, that they gave that Elon Musk did an interview on X with Trump. That what would happen if Elon Musk lands in certain country? Now, in this situation of Burov, he is a French citizen, right? So it's a little bit different than if the French would take someone in custody that is only US citizen, right? So, but overall, let's say it is a little bit, it's something that we should keep an eye on, what is actually happening, how the accusations are, will he be sentenced? There are rumors that he will be sentenced for like 20 years and so on, but at the moment there will be made a case against him. And then, interestingly also, that as a consequence, the Rumble CEO also fled from Europe, right? So I'm a little late to this, but for good reason. I've just safely departed from Europe, says Chris Pavlovsky, right? So this is the consequence. So it is crazy times. Now, what happened is that Toncoin, maybe we refresh also here, it's already recovering, but Toncoin took a dive here on these news. So the arrest was here Saturday, and Toncoin for a time had lost over 23% in a day. Ton is down and Redo is skyrocketing. It's the #1 meme on Ton. That is crazy. Yeah, absolutely. That shows only like how much degeneracy is there. But what is also crazy is like Ton didn't react as much to this than it did to the overall market drawdown. You see this drawdown like 1.5 weeks ago or so, when Bitcoin also dropped to 50k. So it didn't react to the CEO being arrested as much as it did react to the market. So this could be, we will see, but it could be an entry. However, if it comes down here, be aware of something like, and this has nothing to do with being the CEO being arrested or so, but look at this. So if you would just pull up this, and then you say, oh, this is higher, and you form this, and you come down here, that is a nice and clean head and shoulders, and that has a pretty sick downside target, right? It's not confirmed because, first of all, we didn't touch here, and secondly, we didn't break down, so obviously not confirmed. But keep in mind that this could be a possibility, right? As this, and this is already lining up as support. Okay. But enough with the Toncoin. Let me know what you think about the arrest of Durov in the chat. how do you see the situation? Because obviously there are a lot of theories going on, like for why they are doing this, why they also, right? Durov had in, I think it was in 2014 or a couple of years ago, he had left Russia because he wanted to escape the censorship on there and the government influence on Telegram on that side. And also keep in mind that Telegram is way more popular in Russia than it is in Europe. And also, and he has a Russian citizenship with French citizenship together. So now Russia is addressing France that they want access to Durov. So there might be a power play here between more than only France, right? So let me know what you think is going on. Okay, so let's look at this here. So here, Stock Money Lizard's coming out and says this is a preparation pattern, same stuff in small that we had with the C19 crisis. I would argue that if that was the case, then we have this still a crash maybe in front of us before we come up into our parabol phase, right? So it would line up with theoretically, oh my god, we are in recession and let's go. On the other side, we also had this carry trade crash from Japan already, and we might be ready to go in November in November into parabolic stage, right? But you see here, the pattern is really very, very similar. It really is, right? You come out of the bear market in whatever shape and form, and then you have this type of broadening, falling wedge that could lead on a breakout, and this takes time, right? Breakout takes time into the next parabolic upside, driven by liquidity. So I would say it's definitely a possibility. Now, I found this interesting. I don't know if you've seen this, but I think it's super interesting. Want to talk a little bit about it. Because people are like always, Bitcoin, I mean, why wasn't it founded earlier? Why didn't we come to this realization earlier, and so on? So here are all the steps of 40 years that needed to basically be there for Bitcoin to succeed. Like, look at when in 1976 it was invented cryptography, right? Or TCP/IP, right, in 1974. So this starts at 1974, but you could go way back and say, okay, even humanity had to invent electricity first, right? And then what had to be invented for electricity and so on. So everything goes so far back, right? And to put into the foundation of what is necessary. But look at this. So linked timestamping, public keys as identities, Byzantine fault tolerance. I don't even know what all that is, right? Proof of work has been apparently already invented in 1992. So all these little fundamentals are already there. Smart contracts in 1997 already. Peer-to-peer networks. We all remember the good times with BitTorrent and so on, right? Somewhere here also probably the invention of the computer itself, right? And then what ultimately led to it, like Julian Assange, WikiLeaks, Lehman Brothers bankruptcy, and then Satoshi Nakamoto comes out on October 31st, 2008 with a peer-to-peer electronic cash system with his proposal, and quickly later in January 2009 the launch of Bitcoin, which led to all of this. But I think it's super interesting to see what all the steps that had to happen, and maybe this chain is not over yet, right? Maybe this chain is not over yet. We don't know what is coming in the next years. How everything will interact with all the stuff like AI and so on. But good times to be alive, right? I mean, if you were if you were alive born in 1974, fine, right? But if you were already 80 years old in 1974, you probably didn't even reach this this stage here to see this. So we are really, really blessed to be alive in this time, in my opinion, right? Hey, Troy Paris, what's going on? Hey, everyone. So now the question is, let's talk about what is already over and what is still in front of us, right? I mean, you could argue, Bitcoin pumping, altcoins pumping. What are the catalysts for that? And if we look back, we have really had a rough 6 months, right? So Grayscale sold 350,000 Bitcoin. Germany sold 50,000 Bitcoin. The US government sold 10,000 Bitcoin from Silk Road. Mt. Gox distributed 100,000 plus Bitcoin. Celsius, Gemini, Earn, and Genesis Trading made distributions of Bitcoin and other crypto into the market. And the consequence is what? The new ETFs absorbed it all, and we're still above 64,000 or somewhere around. Now, there's more to it because this is only the last. But if you think back to the bear market, what you have endured, what you have passed, what you have hodled through, right? Three Arrows Capital collapse, Voyager collapse, Celsius collapse, FTX collapse, Terra Luna crash, right? Bankruptcies. In the absolute bear market trough, also traditional banks, bankruptcies that actually caused basically liquidity to come back and to save several banks and institutions from going into absolute bankruptcy. All of that is behind us. And the question is, what is in front of us? Well, technically, as a negative in front of us could be recession. As rate cuts are coming in, also recession announcement could be coming in. Hey, Green Lantern, good to see you. And, but the other side is, and that were always bullish catalysts, is rate cuts in itself as a long-term consequence had bullish catalyst. And then also US elections always were, in the history of Bitcoin, a bullish catalyst for Bitcoin. And the US elections are 5th of November. So whatever happens right now, however dark it might be becoming again, I think it's still the time. Like, this could be a buying opportunity, but still the time to endure more pain to then be rewarded in the end. You are the only ones that have not been shaken out of the market. And if you're looking at things like Google Trends, you can see how many people have been shaken out of the market, right? Look at attention in the bull run versus the attention in the bear market. You can also make it of social media clicks that there's only 20% of people left that are actually watching videos and still sticking to it. So you are in this elite of people that are still with Bitcoin, with crypto, and with some of the altcoins, right? You see how much communities have shrinked. Not only Ecomi and Veve, but also other communities have shrinked. And on the other side, it also means to be careful because the market can get very volatile very quickly. So if you are if you're trading, be very careful at the sideways actions at the moment where uncertainty is so big, right? Be very careful at when this market moves sideways, because very quickly we saw this before. The market can move devastating in either direction. And if you only buy and hold, it doesn't really matter. But if you're shorting or longing, or even do it on a leverage, you can get wrecked so hard, really. And many things have done. I mean, if you have an altcoin like Ecomi or something like this, it can go to zero, and that's painful. But if you leverage this market and it does something like it did here, it can really destroy everything, right, that you have. So be very careful, because a catalyst like this can just add quickly to the list. Recession. Yeah, recession fears were already there since 2 years. So we don't know actually what the impact would be, if it's priced in or not. Probably not. And then also keep in mind that even if you're selling, if you're thinking about selling, there are the ETFs that just absorb all of this, right? So they have no problem to also absorb your little Satoshis, right? Or your 1 Bitcoin or whatever you have. So that is also meaning if that what has been hodled before has now all been absorbed by the ETFs, who are the ETF investors? It's institutions, it's wealthy people, it's Wall Street investors, it's other funds and companies, right? So if recession is being announced, or then the Wall Street playbook could mean press the sell button. And if that happens, a ton of Bitcoin is hitting the market at once, right? Maybe not from BlackRock, but from the other ETFs. So, yeah. Moses Hooper says, "What up, bro? How are you living?" I'm fine, and you? So this also very interesting to say, hey, maybe we have a bullish continuation. So this is the third and final low volatility phase that comes mid-cycle, every cycle on Bitcoin Bollinger Band width. So what are the Bollinger Bands? The Bollinger Bands are basically an indicator for Bitcoin that implies how much the volatility is in a specific phase. And the indicator here is basically how widened or how close the Bollinger Bands are. Maybe we should, before we look at this, look at the Bollinger Bands here. So you can pull it up for yourselves on TradingView. Bollinger Bands. The standard Bollinger Bands, right? And so this is the Bollinger Bands, right? And if you have low volatility and so on, so the Bitcoin price, as you see, tends to stay within the Bollinger Bands, but if it crashes, it widens the Bollinger Bands, and if it moves sideways, it tightens the Bollinger Bands. And usually when Bollinger Bands get really, really tight, like here, usually you have an explosive move in front of you, right? So very crazy. And now we have that again, like it's tightening again, right? So overall, if we look at this analysis here, where is it? There is it. Basically what is marked in this indicator is whether they are widened or tightened. And now, so here, all the green arrows are the tightening phases of Bollinger Bands on, what is that? On the weekly. So actually we did look on the daily, so we can also put this on the weekly. Put it on the weekly. So here we see it also, right? Like Bitcoin pumps and the Bollinger Bands here tightening, explosive move, it widens, and now it moves sideways and the Bollinger Bands are coming together, it's tightening again. At some point after the tightening, expected to move like crazy, right? So, and there are 3 phases of this tightening every cycle, right? Except on this cycle there are only 2 in the very beginning. But here it's like 5 month, 5.5 month, 5 month. Also the length is more or less what we have right now. So the tightening, then 4 month, 4 month, 5 months in the last bull run. And this 5 month move, the third move, led to the parabolic stage, as well as here the 5 month move, the 5 month tightening led to the parabolic phase in 2017. And now we see here 2 months at the bear market bottom, 5 months at this sideways move, which is also very long lasting, boring sideways move. And then now we have a 6 month tightening phase, and the indicator is very, very close to the absolute bottom here, right? So how long can it drag on? It's a little bit longer than the other cycles, than all other cycles. So we are maybe overdue already, but at some point it might just go from one day to another completely crazy. So another indicator, and we will see how it plays out, is this here, the DXY, right? And the DXY is losing its support. So the big question is, so this is the weekly, right? The big question is, will we lose this support for good? And that would mean open and close a weekly candle, open and close a weekly candle below support, right? Below support. And you could argue that this is support, right? Or this is support. Now, we will see how it plays out. Definitely, you see here, for example, we lost support, but we didn't open and close a new candle, and then it just came back, right? The DXY just came back, so the dollar just strengthened again, and that was because of the continuous rate hiking that had been happening, or maintaining rates stable and so on. So we will see how it works out, but with rate cuts coming and likely 25 basis points, maybe if something breaks, maybe even more, we are very likely to lose the support. Once the support is lost, money is being allocated into assets, and Bitcoin is very likely to pump. So we will keep a close eye now on the DXY. And we're also going to keep a close eye on USDT dominance, which hasn't changed since the video that I made a couple of days ago. So we are expecting to have USDT dominance to come down in this channel, in this rising channel. We expect it to come down to the lower end, allocating money to the market, and then breaking it, which would be good for the market. USDT dominance decreasing means USDT very likely flowing into crypto, therefore pump. Let's check out the market also, how it's doing. And then we move on to Ecomi and Veve. By the way, guys, can I ask you a favor to have to smash up the like button, please, here for me. Smash the like button and it will benefit my channel quite a bit. That would be great. Thank you for that. So see here, the market on the weekly, still from the last week, is green. We see Popcat 89% leading the charge, as well as Sats 36%, HTX 39%, Dog with Head 34%, and Fetch AI here behind me actually with 62%. Everything is doing quite nicely. Link is up 21%, Matic is up 25%, IMX 33%. Beam, you can't see it, but it's behind me. Beam is also in the top 100, 28%. Render 42%. It's crazy. Like everything has a green day, and it's not altcoin season. That is nothing to do with altcoin season. On the day, slightly red, starting the week slightly red, but Fetch AI on the day 8.7%. So how does the weekly look in the top 200 as well? We see Sun. What is that? Sun is, I don't even know what that is, but Sun is up 253%. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Pepecoin 83%. Superverse is 42%. Hot 39%. Crazy. So yeah, what do you think? Like, what are your favorite coins here? Let's see the chat quickly, guys. Troy Paris says, I was at Rare Evo last week in Vegas, and it was surprising how small it was. Still, the Cardano community is very loyal, but still small. The stuff on the plate for the future is still super exciting. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, nice insight. Troy Paris says, thanks for giving such in-depth information always. I am glad that you guys like it, and you're very welcome. So I will keep it up. I will continue. I will be here no matter what happens with this bull run, and we are going to look how things progress. Hi there, Hey says, what would you say is the logical thinking behind the other OMI influencers saying 5 cent to 10 cent is this cycle? I cannot tell you that. I mean, the thinking is that coins tend to completely unrealistically outperform at occasions on news. But in my opinion, what is necessary for that is that the coin gets a lot of attention for such an outperformance, because I mean, we can look at it. We can look at it right now. This is Ecomi. Let me just quickly refresh to have the very actual chart. So this is Ecomi on the weekly. So it already looks more perspective, but let's really just go into the daily and look at what happened. So, Omi had a pump, right? From here, the absolute all-time low that it had to the absolute upside, it had the 20% pump. It's getting rejected at exactly the resistance that we expected to get rejected. We see a lot of confluence here, and to get somewhat of a bullish notion, we need to break above this. Okay, I'm coming back to your question, why some influencers think that. So Ecomi has a market cap of $123 million still, right? Still with this. A 10x would bring it back to being a billion dollar coin, right? So from here, where we are right now, let's just shrink this a little bit. Okay, we need to shrink it more. So a 10x would be, so a 10x is not, this is a 10x, right? 900%. Because a 1x is 0%, okay? So a 10x would be 0.0045. That would be a 10x. So at this price, at half a penny, that Omi is $1 billion coin, market cap coin again, right? Now, is that possible? Yes, that is possible. But it also requires people collectively to put another $900 million into Omi, and there needs to be a reason for it. And that reason cannot only be, oh yeah, Ecomi had a good roadmap at some point. Ecomi needs a new roadmap, in my opinion. And I think what many influencers are putting there, I mean, what would 5 cents be? 5 cents would be here, right? 5 cents would be, first of all, takes out this major resistance, takes out all-time high, and then overshoots all-time high by 4x, by doing a 4x, right? That would be a 100. 5 cents would be a 112x from where we are, not from the all-time low, but from where we are at the moment. It would also be a 10 to 12 billion dollar Ecomi, right? It's not, let's also say, it's not impossible. It's not impossible, but it requires a couple of things, in my opinion. And these things are outlined here. It requires a clear roadmap, and it requires proof of the first things on the roadmap having been executed, right? And you need to prove to people that what you put on the roadmap can actually happen within a cycle. And it's very difficult for the Ecomi team to do that, as many things have not happened that have been promised before that, right? So that is one difficulty. The other difficulty is exchanges where the US actually can buy Ecomi tokens. That is necessary, because otherwise, like, most of the crypto volume is happening in the US. If you exclude the US, they cannot buy, right? So, and then also from a technical standpoint, you need a turnaround here. right? Because it's only falling at the moment. Even though we had a little pump here, we didn't see a turnaround like in the other coins. I showed that in the last Crypto Morning Coffee, how every other altcoin basically has this bear market bottom, then a turnaround where it takes out the previous lows, the previous highs in the bear market, and it basically shows strength. We don't have that for Ecomi for these reasons. And then in the end, you need to cater to the Web3 community, because the Web3 community is what buys coins. And if you don't do that in any shape or form, you will not get these people in to buy the coin. And then you don't have the buyers that will put in millions and millions of OMI tokens. So it's really, it can randomly pump a couple of X's, right? So for example, like back to this high, it can pump back to this high without any bigger reasons, right? That is not impossible, right? But that would be 001, right? So I am very hesitant to say, oh yeah, 5 to 10 cents is possible. Not let alone 10 cents. We only talked about 5 cents, right? I'm very hesitant at the moment to talk about this in this way, right? We'll have to see. I want to see something out of Ecomi first that gives me bullish vibes. I didn't see that at the moment. And yes, if it was tied to Veve in a very strong way, which it isn't at the moment, then the quality of Veve and the beauty of Veve, the collectibles that Veve has, and the potential that Veve has would bring power to Ecomi, right? So on the other hand, it means if Stacker manages to pull this off, OMI to NFT, massive burns, at the same time Veve brings out a new, like together with Stacker, Veve brings out a new roadmap together with Stacker, and they manage to get it on Coinbase, yeah, then you can get to new all-time highs, which means beyond 1.3 cents. Pro Legendary says, do you think we will get OMI to NFT this year? Veve hinted Veveverse years ago, saying we will get it soon, but that soon is years away, and they stopped giving updates on the development, and they stopped giving up invites as well. Exactly, so this is a big problem. I think Superstar Money made a great video about the whole thing with the Veveverse, and it also refreshes the memory. So when they announced the Veveverse at Anaheim, I think Decon, not announced, when they gave a sneak peek, that was in 2022, I think, or very early beginnings of 2023. No, I think it was in 22, right? Something like that. So, and they gave the sneak peek, and since then we didn't really, besides that Mr. Falcon video or so, we didn't really get any updates anymore, right? And they had a roadmap which was saying like Q1, Q2, Q3, until Q4 2023 there would have been the full rollout of the Veveverse, right? And we didn't get that. They did 2 rounds of beta invites with NDAs, and these people are they are in the Veveverse, right? But they cannot share any like pictures or whatever how it looks like. Some people say it looks amazing, but some people also say that since months there were no new improvements in that beta, which seems like something, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it has to do with Nestor leaving. I have no idea, right? What Nestor actually did, if he worked on the Veveverse, if he was out already, I don't know. But that is concerning, to say the least, right? Because I don't want to have the Veveverse come out today because it doesn't give us the pumpermentals. But I would like to see more. Like, what would be nice would be, hey, open beta or something like that, right? It doesn't have to come out as a full product, but hey, here is the 5% that you can use. Like let everyone build in these showrooms. Let content creators create content about it. Let me jump around in my Veveverse showroom or so here on the stream while I'm talking about it, right? So that is not there. Back to Pro Legendary's question. Do you think we will get OMI to NFT this year? I don't know if this year, but I think we will maybe get it early 2025, just because it's not Veve itself that is working on it, but together with Stacker. And as far as we have seen, development on Stacker is quicker and more productive than with Veve itself, right? So the tech side seems to be better. We see it if we go to Stacker website, then you see that it's it basically looks better than the Veve web app. Not to say that the Veve web app is garbage. It is not. It's pretty good, but Stacker looks better. And it works better also from a search engine type and so on, right? Is it possible for it to make a major surprise in the bull market given the AI explosion? You're asking about NFP. I have no idea about NFP, what that is. So yeah, for Veve, unfortunately, problematically, Veve they have this, like, I mean, they have nice collectibles, right? Here's the next Wolverine coming out, another version of Wolverine. So they are on the Wolverine thing here. They have been teasing it. Also, they are now giving some content creators the exposure. So, for example, here they are like, oh, we love the Veve German, so they have highlighted Veve Versum, which is a German content creator. So if you're German, check out these streams. Like there's Captain Veve, there's Veve Versum. These two are like constantly putting out Veve content. So this is good. Also, the alien drops and so on, but it's only drops, right? So we are really waiting for like the next big thing, either on the side of MCP, of OMI, of collectibles utility program, so to say, or on the Ecomi side, right? So OMI to NFT is a big necessity, as we see here, like OMI to NFT and actual burns, not only the test burns as we see right now. Pro Legendary says that Wolverine looks, what does he look like? Teller is blowing up now. It's up 40% and climbing. That sounds good. So that is that. With regards to Veve users, we had this climb. Now we're a little bit consolidating here. So we had 660k, 202, and now 206, and now we have 4 less. So couple of flippers, they went from 1 to 0 again. But overall, we had a nice steep climb in the last couple of days, in the last weeks, which is good, right? We approximately gained 180 users. Something like that, 180, which is good for the state of what it is at the moment. But we need more big updates. It cannot be that you're working in the background, never give updates, but you expect the fam to just shut up or be bullish, right? It cannot be. So looking at also whale behavior, net accumulation is not that high at the moment, to be honest. So if we're looking at just the accumulation side here of the wallets, you see like number 1 and 2, they are stacking like a couple of hundred. These net accumulation phases, also this is the 19th to 25th, so until yesterday, these net accumulations were way higher a while ago, right? So it seems that they have calmed down with their buying. So these were like, Bezosman was buying in the thousands, and so on, right? So we see here really, and then also this guy, he is selling quite a bit. So we see that a couple of them are buying hundreds of collectibles, but it's not nearly as high as it was when we last checked it out, right? So here 200, like 264, that's probably the highest in these charts. There are a couple of them that are really stacking, but yeah, no, 291, sorry, this one is the highest. So we also obviously want to have whales buying like crazy, being bullish, right? I mean, it's not that they haven't. I mean, if you look at the numbers that they have, 57 Bezosman is heading to 60,000 collectibles. Number 2 is at 33k. Number 3 at 22k. Number 4 at 20k, and number 5 is approaching the 20k. So yeah, I mean, these are massive wallets, and they are still buying, but buying has decreased, right? Hi there, he says, how do we know less about the Viviverse now than we did in 2021? Aren't we meant to know more as time goes on, and not the opposite? How does that work? I mean, if you give only 200 people, or not even 200, 100 people access, you give them an NDA, you never release material, you don't update the roadmap, then it's less now than before, right? I think lots of us are in a buyer's fatigue. I see it and feel it too. Yeah. And also, there are two effects. One is a positive and one is a negative. Buyer's fatigue and also being a little bit exhausted by not getting new excitement, that is a negative. The positive is that maybe a lot of people have eyes and money for altcoins at the moment, right? So there was such a big altcoin buying opportunity that for many people maybe allocating money to Veve collectibles didn't make sense. Once the crypto market moves, altcoins go on a tear, people will stop buying altcoins. They will look at first of all, they will look at coins that haven't pumped yet, so maybe Ecomi comes in the focus, and also they will look at other stuff like, oh, what about NFTs, right? So we will see how this plays out, but maybe that is also some effect here. Now, guys, make sure to smash up the like button, please. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Notifications on. We have exciting times in front of us, for sure. It's going to be interesting. Make sure that you do not miss any of my video updates and or live streams, and we will be here hopefully every day this week. Pro Legendary says, and now we don't even do monthly AMA anymore. Yeah, so it's been a while, right? It's been a while with the AMAs. They don't do any AMAs anymore, and that is exhausting for people. But anyways, I have to jump. So wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon, and I catch you